you all. Right, so without taking much time, shall we start? Now, let me start sharing my screen first. Okay. Now, before we moving forward, let me start from the very beginning. Now, we have generated a small application to support you to request for a Zoom account. Those who did not created the Zoom account so far or requested the account so far, you can go to this web address app.wyb.ac.lk/zoom. So going to that address, you will be able to request your account. So this is the web, app.wyb.ac.lk/zoom. So when you go over there, you need to give some information on your behalf. So you have to select your title, your first name, last name, and your institutional email address. So this means only WYB email addresses are accepted here. Your mobile number, and please give your mobile number in the international format. That means in front it should be +94. And select your faculty, select your department. So all the faculties, all the departments are already integrated in the system. So select it appropriately and give a password. So this password is for your Zoom account. So you can use whatever the password you wish here. There are some small criterions. So you will get a pop-up message if the criterion does not meet when you're making your password. So after that, create my account. While clicking create my account, you will be able to request for a Zoom account. So after you complete this, the ICT center can see your request and we will allow your request. So unfortunately, there's no way that we do not have a notification system so far to notify you after we allow the access. So, but anyway, definitely within 1-2 days, you will definitely get the account created. So after that, what you can do is you can log into your Zoom account first. So let me go through that process as well in very quickly. So the address that you need to follow is this one. So this is the address you need to visit. So sometimes people try to visit directly the Zoom site by typing zoom.us in the browser. Don't do that, because we have to authorize ourselves and we have to create our institutional we have to give our institutional settings. So therefore you need to follow this link at the very beginning. So after that, I will show you how to do it. So at the very first login, or forever you can use this link, learn.zoom.us, to log into your account. So let me follow in that path as well. So when we type learn.zoom.us, so this site should appear. So this is the Learn's Zoom controlling website. So over there you have 3 options: join, host, and sign in. So at the very first users, definitely you need to use sign in. So even after creating your account, I'm strongly suggesting use this sign in link. Don't use join or host over here, because sometimes if you do not have the experience, some problems can be occur with these two. So therefore I suggest not to follow that too, but to use the sign in option always. Before we move on, let me draw your attention to these 2 graphs as well. So these are the usage statistics graphs monitored by the Zoom. So on the bottom graph, you will find the system load on weekly basis. So for a particular date, you will find some times are there that the system is more than 100% overloaded here. So red bar indicated the overloaded times or the days. So in the top graph, you will find the system load, the live system load. Now the time is almost 9:15. So therefore, around here now we don't have a system load up to 100%. So therefore, you don't have any problems joining or conducting Zoom sessions. So pay your attention here when you are planning to do some sessions through Zoom, because if you choose a time that system is fully overloaded, there might be some problems for users and also for the host there can be some interruptions. So be aware of that, right? So let me move on. When you come to this learn zoom.us site, always strongly suggest to use this sign in option. So when you click sign in, you will be redirected to Identity Access Federation website. So here you need to select your organization. So if you already have selected your organization once, that will appear here. Up to 3 organizations you can appear in the top. Sometimes it may be there, sometimes it not be there. So anyway, by typing November, so you will get 2 options here. YMB University of Sri Lanka Koliyapitiya premises, YMB University of Sri Lanka Markandara premises. So people who are getting the ICT services from Koliyapitiya, you need to select Koliyapitiya premises. Those who are getting ICT services from Markandara premises, you need to select Markandara premises. Okay, so let me choose Koliyapitiya premises for this demonstration and click continue. So people who are using for the Zoom first time, they will be asked a huge list of settings. So don't do any change over there, and on the bottom you will find a small button say apply or accept. So click that button. That's all. That window will never come again. So you don't need to select any option over there. Just select accept button on that screen. So after you log in, you will be directed to this site. So this is the actual Zoom website which belongs to Learn Services. So now let me share a few information. Now we have already covered up some points, but let me go through those points. Let me cover up those points in very quickly as well. So if you have included a profile picture in your institutional email address, so that should come here, right? So if it is not, please add a profile picture to your email. So this will automatically link to that account as well. In here you will find your name, and you will find on-prem, that means on premium. So if it is not there, that means you are on a basic account. 40-minute restriction would be there if you are in a basic account. So therefore, make sure before you start any meeting, make sure your on-prem label is there, right? So now when you go there and click your name, or if you click profile in this page, you will be directed to the same page. That will be your profile. Let me start with that point. Now some has told me, okay, now my name is Upanit Lianarachi, but again Lianarachi is appearing here. So, and some have already questioned that our department says OU equals something like that. So why is that? Okay, so let me explain that. Now we are using LDAP protocol, or a central system to authenticate yourselves. So therefore there's a standard way of communicating with different systems with different settings. So if you are sharing your information with different setting systems, there's a standard way of communicating. Now on that method there are some problems, right? So if I say over my profile, go over there, and if I click edit here, so I may be given the option to change my first name or last name and add my phone number. And over here, your department and faculty and everything would be there. But keep in mind, people, this OU equals to organization unit. So this is a standard setting which only computer systems would understand your information. So therefore, don't worry about what is displayed here, right? So this is due to a setting which is used by the Learn. So therefore we cannot change those things to appear very prettily without the OU marks and other things. So you don't have to worry about those things, and you are not allowed to change that as well. And also your location, your email address, you are not allowed to change, right? So if you wish to change this, or I can remove that part and I can click save changes. So that would be saved. So there's no harm if you change it here. There's no problem because you can change it, right? There are several settings that which is not allowed to change by yourselves. And personal meeting ID is ID. Now, in my case, this is my personal meeting ID. It's like my national identity card number in the country, right? So in Zoom, this identifier is used to identify myself. So as for the others, you will get a unique identifier like this. So it's a 9-digit number, sorry, 10-digit number. You can use this to conduct meetings as well. Now, when we are preparing some meetings, uh, there's a number that we are sharing called meeting ID. So that is the same ID, 10-digit number, that is temporarily assigned for the particular meeting that we are scheduling. But instead of using that meeting ID generated automatically with the system, we can use our own personal meeting ID to conduct meetings. So for security reasons, it is not strongly advised to use your personal ID, right? So always use automatically generated ID for the meetings that you are scheduling. Otherwise, there can be several problems if you directly use your meeting ID always. So I'm not going to explain it in detail at the moment. So if you have a particular question on that, please raise it at the end. I will do some brief explanation because this is not important at the moment, right? So this information are simply blocked, right? So you can't, if you click edit, you are not allowed to edit the address as well. So for security reasons, it's not showing the entire address, right? And also pay attention to this user type on premium, right? So I'm on premium now. So if you are say on basic, please let us know that we need to do some changes by asking with the learn. So, and keep in mind, people, learn is also monitoring the Zoom accounts, whether we are using the account for our purposes or not. So if you are created an account and if you are not using the account, that means if the learn notifies your account is not being used for a long period of time, they will be removing you from the premium account type and you will be put back into basic account as well. So be careful on that as well. So if you are frequently using your account, no problem. So your capacity limit will be shown here. So we can go for meetings, 300 capacity is there, right? And date time. So please change your time zone to GMT plus 5:30 if it is not there after you logged in, because it is easy when we are making scheduling new meetings. We don't have to change this because this might be a problem if you are organizing a meeting that international participants will be joining. If all the participants are from Sri Lanka, there would be a problem because we have to say compared to what time we are going to hold the meeting. So that's why the settings is important if you are dealing with international community. So the format and other things you can change it here, and your sign-in password can be changed from here, and your host key can be changed from here. So I'm strongly advising you to not to change it because if you change your password here and if you try to log in with our system, there can be problems, right? So therefore, if you want to change the password, please let us know. We will arrange a method to change it because you have to get the authorization from our server to log into the Zoom service. Therefore, you have to use a password. Now, again, to log into the Zoom service, you need another password. So therefore, you need two passwords. But in our case, we are using same password which you are giving on the request time in here. This password is going to use for both services. But if you change your Zoom password here, Zoom login password, so there would be a mismatch with our system and you will be face some problems. So therefore, I strongly advise not to change your password here. If you want to change your password, please let the ICT people know. So we will help you on changing on that, right? So from that point onward, let me move on to some advanced topics, right? Let's go into meetings. Now, unfortunately, webinars option is not available for our account type. So because we have to pay a lot of money if we want to conduct a webinar, right? So under our license, it is not available at the moment. So our option is meetings. Now, when we come to meeting, now I think most of you are here are familiar with creating meetings. So if you want to create a meeting, follow the links learn.zoom.us and come to this point and click here, schedule a new meeting, right? Let me quickly show you how to configure it. So under scheduling a meeting, you can give a topic. So whatever a meaningful topic should be given here, because after people seeing this topic only, they can identify, okay, what is the meeting on here we are talking, right? So if you want to give a additional description over your meeting, you can put it here. So it is optional, it is not compulsory. So therefore, whether you wish to give it or not, it's up to you. So definitely you have to select the correct date and correct time with AM PM. So now the time you can choose is only between half hour intervals. So choose the time correctly, and the duration. Now duration is not a must, but please try to give an approximate timing. It's a 1 hour meeting or 2 hour meeting or whatever on that, right? Please excuse me for 1 second and let me pass to Akila to continue on that point onward. Can you please move on? Yeah. Schedule meeting. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay, I think you all can see my screen. So we were that how we can create a meeting. So what you have to do here is you have to click on schedule a meeting. Right. When you click on schedule meeting here, this is the place where you can give the name of the meeting. And then if you want to kind of give a description, and then this is the time. And again, the time is actually doesn't matter when you're going to start the meeting. I mean, so this is the time that you're going to send with the invitation. So you have select the exact time of the meeting here, but you can start the meeting before that time. So again, this is the time of the duration. That means expected time of the duration of the meeting. So you can give the expected time as 1 hour, 2 hour, anything, but it doesn't matter. You can continue more than that, or you can stop before that. So time, and again here the time zone. So make sure that it's shown Mumbai, Calcutta, New Delhi time zone. That means plus 5:30 GMT time series, because it will when you're going to schedule the meeting, that time will affect. The other thing is here registration. So this is important if you wish to have a participant list. So if you allow registration, so they will ask to fill a form with their name and email address and some few other details. So the Zoom will record all the participants details with the meeting. So if you wish to have a attendance list or something, a participant list like that, so you must enable registration. So if not, you can leave that. You can uncheck the button here. Then meeting ID, as explained earlier, it is better to have a automatically generated meeting ID other than using a personal meeting ID. So that will more secure. So if you wish, you can click on this one, personal meeting ID, and have that. But we highly recommend that you should use automatically generated meeting ID for each meeting. Then this point, meeting password. So that is also for the secure meeting purpose. Only the people who has the password and the meeting ID can join the meeting. So with your requirement, depending on your requirement, you can select it or not. So normally I'm going to remove this one for now. So you can see now a password is not required to join the meeting. So that means anyone who has the link can join the meeting. So if you want to make it more secure, you can activate the password and you can give it a password there. The next option, video. So host on off, you can see participant on off. That means when they're going to join the meeting, the host video will be off and the participants video will be off if I select these two. Again, audio. So here telephone and the computer audio. So everyone is going to use a computer audio. That means phone is also considered as a computer audio here. So then it is better to select computer audio in this option. So it doesn't matter that someone is wish to join with smartphone. That is also considered as a computer audio. So it is better to click on this one. Then these options here, meeting options, and enable join before host means if we haven't joined yet, the hosties haven't joined yet, the participants can be in the meeting and they can wait. So if you enable this one, so we don't recommend this one to enable join before host, because in some cases with the traffic situations and the load which is sharing by Zoom, some meetings can be stuck if you haven't started that yet. So we highly recommend that you should not enable this one. Then mute participant upon entry. That is very important, because the noise we can reduce the noise comes through their sound devices, so we can mute them at the entry, upon the entry. Then enable waiting room. So this means they are the host, I mean the users who are going to join to the meeting, they can't directly join the meeting at their wish. So if we enable this one, they have to be in a waiting period, and only the host enable them to do so. Enable them, I mean accept them, then only they can join the meeting. So if you wish to continue or conduct an interview or something, so this option is very important. What you can do here, you can start the meeting and you can see who are the participants coming and going here, and they will initially kept on this waiting room. So you can see that these persons are waiting to join the meeting, and only if you accept them, then only they can join the meeting. Again, if you want to leave them, if you want to keep them out for a while during the meeting, keep someone out during the meeting, so that is also possible with this one. So what you have to do here, we'll show you that later how you can do that. If you have enabled this option, that will allow you to keep a few persons or one person out of meeting for a while. So what you can do, you can send them to the waiting room, and again if you wish to have them in the meeting, then you can again accept them to the meeting. So like that, the waiting room is important. That is also again depending on your requirement. So if you are going to conduct a class or something, so we recommend that you should not enable waiting room, because every time that student is going to join, we have to accept them. We may not be able to do anything other than accepting people. So if you're going to have a classroom or some kind of a public meeting, which which will be a high number of participants, so it is good to leave this as it is without enabling the waiting room. But as I explained earlier, if it is an interview or something, or you have a requirement to keep some people out of the meeting for a while, then this is the best option that you should do. Right. Next one, only authenticated users can join. So people who has a Zoom account can only join this meeting if you enable this one. So again, you should not click on this one, because most of people, they don't have their own Zoom accounts. So it is better to leave this option. Again, record the meeting automatically. You can give this one, so that will record this option in your the host PC, I mean who has started the meeting. So you don't have to click the record, and it will automatically record the meeting. So ultimately what you have to do is click here and save the meeting. Save the meeting, right? So this is the place that where you can share this one. So if you click on this copy invitation, you can see this kind of a statement here. So it has all the details, the topic, the time, and the meeting ID, meeting link, everything. So if you wish, you can this copy meeting and copy that to your email, or you can just copy this link and share that link with your participants. Again, here we recommend that you better start the meeting before sharing this one, because we had some experience that with the high traffic in Zoom, in some cases meeting cannot be started after sharing the link. So it is better that you first start the meeting, and after that share the link, so that will avoid all the interruptions that going to be happen during the heavy traffic and internet slowness as well. Okay. So then the people who has the link, they can join. Actually, that already. So that is how you can create a meeting. Again, if you have any questions, you can ask anytime. Interrupt us and ask. Again, I'm going to hand over Dr. Upani session to Dr. Upani.
Right. Right. Thank you, Akila. Now, let me continue with that point onward. Let me share that one. Okay. Let me explain a few more topics here, with advanced topics here. Now, Akila has explained the meeting password, the meeting ID, and those two things. And let me give you a brief idea on this registration part. Right now, this is kind of important. If you want to, right? If you want to get a recording of the users of the meeting. Now, let me share that with reports, right? Let me quickly jump on to this point, the reports. Right? When we go to reports, now think if you are hosting a meeting and you want to check who are the participants that has been attended to our meeting. So you can get it by going into reports and going into meetings. So when you go over there, there's a okay, there are two options: the report type, registration report or poll report. Let me explain this in a moment. So let's go with the registration report. Now, when I click, okay, we have to give that range of search, and keep in mind the maximum report duration is 1 month. If you suddenly realize, okay, you have missed the attendees of a particular meeting, but unfortunately, if it is scheduled before 1 month, you are not able to get the list. So keep in mind, they are allowing only 1 month of time to generate the reports. So let me search. Okay, these are the meetings actually hosted within that meeting under my account. So therefore, let me go into this one. So workshop on online teaching. So if I want to check, okay, who are the attendees on this meeting? So I'm going to click generate here. So I have to choose all registrants, approved registrants or denied registrants. Now keep in mind, when the time of registration, the host can deny some other people's request if you don't want to allow them to attend. So if you want all registrants, so just select it. If you want only approved ones, choose this option. Or if you want to check, okay, who are the people got denied, you can choose this option, right? So let's check all the registrants and click continue. Now, this will take a few seconds to generate the report. Now, please note that now registration report. Now, this is the time that was scheduled. The meeting is not started actually. So this is an old one. Now, unfortunately, it is gray in color and says unable to generate report since the meeting does not require registration. So that's the problem, right? So if you want to get the list of registrants at the end of the meeting, definitely when you are scheduling the meeting, you need to check this option here. You have to enable this registration option. Otherwise, you can't get who are the people got registered and attended to the meeting. Without that, they are not going to keep any record. So therefore, you have to manually take a screenshot or whatever on the participants, and you have to select them. You have to mark them manually. So that is a kind of important thing if you want to get such reports. Now let me explain on polls. Right before we do any explanation, let me share a poll with you and start with that point. Mr. Akil, can you please start the poll?
Hello everyone, let me share my screen.
No, don't show how to create it. Just start the poll.
Just create it.
No, just start the poll.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. Can you tell something else? You're creating. Yeah, I'm creating. I need one.
So shall we show them how to create? Okay. So until he's getting ready, let me show you some settings. Okay. Now there's an option. Okay. You need one. You need one. Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. Now, what is a poll, right? Now, with the same meeting going on, we can pop up a question, a set of questions to be answered by the participants. Now, for an example, if you want to do throw a quick question, and if you want to get an answer like a quiz, right, you can do this one. Now, actually, this option is for getting the votes for a particular thing discussed in a meeting, because Zoom is originally created for conducting meetings. So in a way, we can use this to conduct quizzes as well. So until Ms. Akila getting ready to post a poll for you all, let me show you now. Basically, when you're ready, all right, okay, let's start the poll and go through after that, right? Akila, can I start? Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, can you all see? Okay. Okay. Can you all see? There's a small question pop up in your desktop.
Yes, we can see.
Yes. Can you please answer? Now we have 43 participants now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please, some people you need to click no as well, right? Don't click yes,
Yes.
all, because we need to. Can somebody please click no as well? We are getting 28 out of 43 on yes. And unfortunately, host now myself and Akila are acting as hosts. So therefore, we don't have the privilege of giving our opinion here. Right? 31. We have 13 more participants. Okay, actually, this is a good way of checking the people's interaction, whether they are in the meeting or they have turned off their camera and doing something else or something like that. So you can put few polls like this. Okay, let me stop on that point. Right. Okay, now let me share the results with you, right? Now I hope everybody can see this. The question is there, is this online session effective? So 94% says yes, 6% says no, right? So this is a kind of thing that you can do within your meeting. So this option is called polling. So so you can use it when you are doing the teaching. I think you can use it for giving a quiz or something, or getting some quick response to a quick question, something like that. Okay. Yeah. So not only like this, you can add multiple choice questions, short answers, and there are a lot of things that you can do with this one. So okay, so let me close that really quickly and start. Okay, before that, Okay, let me share one more window with you. Now, unfortunately, while we are doing the Zoom meeting, some options on the Zoom screen cannot be shared with you, because when I click sharing, the window will disappear. So therefore, I have taken a screenshot and pasted it in Paint to just to show you. Now people, when we enable the polling option in your Zoom application, as you can see in this window, in your Zoom application, on the bottom, you will see an option called poll here. See, so you have option polls here, right? So by clicking that button, you can start the poll that you have created. So before taking much time, let me show you where you can enable this option, right? So it is by default, it is not enabled. So therefore, you have to enable that option in your Zoom settings. Now, to do that, you need to log into your Zoom account in your browser and go to settings here, right? So under these settings, you will find security, schedule meeting, in meeting basic settings, in meeting advanced settings, email notifications, and others. So there are a lot of settings coming under meeting, and there are settings coming under recording, and there are some settings coming under telephone. So today we are going to cover all three, right? So let me start with the meeting. So when you go to meeting, and if you go to in meeting basic settings, right? If you go a little bit down, you will find this option called polling, right? So basically it is not enabled. So by clicking, now it is like this, right? By for your accounts, it is like this. If you are not enable the polling, so if you want to enable it, just click it here, and on the top you will say your setting have been updated. So in here you will see the setting was modified. If you want to reset the setting to original state, by clicking here you can do that. So you have to enable the polling first, right? So that is important. After, and also if you want to add co-hosts, right? Now most of the lecturers has questioned this one. Now when we are doing a lecture that done by a visiting lecturer or somebody else, so how can we give him the privilege, and how can we keep the same privilege as well? So therefore you can enable this option, allow the co-hosting, right? So that means if you enable a co-hosting in your account, and when you come to your participants list, and when you select somebody, so extremely sorry, I can't show that with this one, right? Yeah, I have to make a screenshot and show it to you. Let me take 1 second and do it. Okay. 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 So okay, I have taken a screenshot. Now say okay, Ajitsa is here. Now if I want to make Ajitsa a co-host on this meeting, what I have to do is I have to click the participants button here, and click the participant button here, and this panel will be appear. So after moving your mouse pointer to on top of a person, you will get two buttons, unmute or more button, right? So by clicking more button, you will get this small panel pop up. So on that one, you have to click this option, make co-host, or you can make him the host of the meeting, the main controller, or you can make him a co-host, or you can allow somebody else to record your meeting, or you can rename the person's name, or you can put them in the waiting room. Let's talk it a little bit detail, what is the waiting room in a minute. So either you can remove them from the meeting as well. Now I think Mr. Akila explained that when you are preparing a meeting, right? Let me go back to scheduling a meeting. So on the bottom, there's option called enable waiting room, right? So if you enable this waiting room option, so you can put people in the waiting room, or you can take them into the meeting. So it's like this. Now I think this has been successfully used by a few departments in applied sciences when they are conducting interviews for and business, and business studies and finance as well. So when they are conducting like say when you're selecting students for special degrees, when you're conducting a small interview like that, what you can do is enable the waiting room and allow, you can share the link with all the participants. So when they come to join the meeting, they will be automatically put in the waiting room. The host can see under this participants list, under this under this participants list, on the top you can see a list saying in the waiting room. So host can click on top of them and make them join the meeting, or host can keep them in the waiting room. So this can be effectively used in a meeting like say, let's say we have practiced this to be used in the Senate and also in a Viva. Yeah, let me share the example in the Senate. Now it came to an occasion that in the Senate we were advised to get ready for a voting. Now if the meeting is running on Zoom, so there are people who are joining, who are working as full members of the Senate, and there are some invitees, those who don't have the voting power. So when it comes to a session like this, Zoom cannot differentiate them. So therefore, we need to enable the waiting room, and we need to remove all the non-voting members back into, we need to put them in the waiting room and allowing only privileged members, those who have voting, to give their vote. And we can put a poll asking the vote. And also we need to make sure that who came to the meeting. So therefore we need to enable the registration on that point as well. So like that, you can choose these options according to your requirement. Therefore you can get the maximum out of this Zoom software, right? So let me go to back to the settings as well. So there are a lot of options coming under meetings, right? So I'm not going to share each and every meeting, right? So there's a setting and there's a description among them. So I'm inviting you all to go through, but don't worry, right? Nothing severely bad thing will happen, right? So if you change these meetings by, you can just go through this, and if you think, okay, host video, so start meeting with host video on. So if you turn this on, all the meetings that you are creating, the host would be automatically, the host video will be turned on while the meeting is started. So like that, you can change the settings over here. Now for an example, audio type. Now over there, telephone and computer audio, both options are showing. Now unfortunately in Sri Lanka, we don't have the privilege of connecting to the meetings with the telephones. So therefore we have only computer audio option. So you can apply that and click save. So therefore you don't need to change that option always while you are creating the meeting. So by default, the meeting would be running on computer audio. Like that, these settings can be changed over here. So there are a lot of settings you can go through and you can enable or disable according to you, right? So if I don't want to allow to people to use virtual background on my meetings, I can turn that off, right? So like that, some options are locked, right? So by default, you are not allowed to go through with 1080p high definition video, because that will take that will consume a lot of your internet bandwidth. So therefore it is already locked by the administrator, right? Now you will realize, you will be amazed, okay, who is our administrator on Zoom, right? So don't think the ICT center is the administrator. No, the Learn is the administrator on Zoom accounts, right? So if we have a trouble with the account, if we need to change this account setting, we need to contact Learn again and ask their permission to do so. Like that, there are several layers of privileges, right? So you can go through these settings and you can change it according to you, right? Now we have shown polling and co-hosting, right? And always show meeting controls toolbar. If you hide this one, the control toolbar will not be appear on your software, right? So like that, you can change it according to your requirement, right? Let me jump into recording really quickly, right? So this is called local recording, means recording on your computer. And if you turn this off, you will not be able to record it to your computer. But make sure that this is turned on, because the recording to cloud is always problematic, as according to our experience. So sometimes it is working, sometimes it is not. So therefore, highly advised to enable this option. This is by default, this is turned on, so you don't need to worry. For just for learning purposes, you can go and do some changes and you can reset it if you don't need it, right? Okay. The telephone option is not available in our country, right? So don't try to change the settings, because this is not available feature, right? So normally this is available like in US, Canada and UK and those countries. This is available, but in Sri Lanka this is not supported at the moment, right? So let me quickly share one more thing, say account profile. So account profile, this is our category. We are running on education account, so we are a member. Our administrator is Mr. Selami Herat. So he's a administrator in the LAN network. So under his name, everything is running. So our reselling partner is this one. So therefore, we are some users of a system which is purchased by LAN, right? Not by the ICT centers. So now, if you enable polling, if you run a poll, you will be able to fetch a report on poll results. So go to polls, go to meetings. Now I told you I will talk this thing in a moment. So you can get a registration report if you have enabled registration in your meeting. If you conduct a poll in your meeting, you can get a poll report, right? Let me do a quick search. I don't think that will appear. Yes, it is not coming because I'm not the one who created the poll. Mr. Akila has created the poll. Let me quickly switch with Mr. Akila. He will show you how to get the poll report as well. No need. And also, and also how to create the poll. Now you have to enable that poll option in your settings first. Then Akila will show you where to create the poll before you start the meeting. So you can create the poll after you start the meeting as well, right? So you don't have to worry that you need to always create the poll before the meeting. No, at the time of running the meeting, you can create the poll as well. So let me switch with Mr. Akila, so he will show you how to do it. Akila,
okay, hello everyone. So in your web interface, you have logged into learn.zoom.us, and in your web interface, you can click on meetings. In under meetings, you can see the meeting that you have conducted now, that you have started now. So what you have to do is just click on the meeting. Then it will open all the meeting settings here. And when you scroll down, you can see there is a section called poll and live streaming and all. So you can click on poll, and then you have to click on add. Right. You can see the interface, right? Okay. So then you will see this kind of interface here, form, right? So at the top, you have to give it a name. So I'm going to just type something. Again, here you can type the question. So that is where I type the question. Right. Then here single choice or multiple choice, you can select with your requirement. So I'm going to select single choice, and this is the place where we can give answers. So there are 10 options, 10 answers we can give. So I'm going to just type yes and no. Okay, then after that, again, if you wish to have another question in your poll, so you can add a question, and then you can type another question. And again, you can give answers. Right. So then what you have to do is just save this one. Save. Click here. Okay. So after that, if you have enable polling, so you can in your screen you can see poll. Let me share a screenshot. Right. In this screen, you can see here the poll icon is there, and what you have to do is just click on the poll icon, and you can click start polling. So then the participants will see the screen in a pop-up screen in their laptop, the computer screens. So then they can vote according to the questions that we have given. So those are the things that we're going to explain today. And again, one more thing. So we have shared a username and password with you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Here, so we have shared username and password with you last day. So that is about Microsoft account that we have achieved to our university. We have enough accounts that we can provide all the staff in the university. So now we are creating accounts and sharing with you. So let me explain that a bit. So here. Right. So what you have to do with that login is you can go to office.com. You can open the browser and type office.com. When you click on office, when you visit office.com, you can see this interface here, and you have to click on sign in. It will ask for your username, so you have to go your username here, like here, and then you have to enter the password. Right. After click on login, you will be directed to this interface. So this is the admin panel. Oh, I mean the admin panel of this account, right? So there are several applications that you can use with this account. So you have Outlook. Outlook means you have another email account now. So what you have to do, you have to click on Outlook, and the username we have given to you is your email account, email address. So you can use this one as another university email account, but this is not the official email account. The email account with what you have with wib.stsc.lk is the official email account in our university. This also you can use this email also as a backup of this email organizational email account. Okay. Then next one. So you can click on this apps icon. I'm going to click all apps here. Right. The other things are you have Excel and Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and all these are newest Microsoft versions. So let me click on Word. So you can create or edit any document that you have created with Microsoft Office. Again, we have 1 TB space in this with this account. So you can keep all your documents there in. Let me show you that. With this OneDrive. So you can click on OneDrive and you can upload any of your documents there. And the important thing here is when you're going to edit this kind of document that you have uploaded to your OneDrive, that will be edited using this Microsoft Word online version. So that means there will be no changes in Word. You can change it as you're going to edit it with the offline Microsoft version. So we are going to have a training session tomorrow about this Microsoft Office 365 application account. So that will be conducted by Microsoft Sri Lanka. The session will be started 9:30 tomorrow. So we invite you all to participate that and learn how you can get the best experience with that Microsoft Online account. Okay, so I'm going to hand over this to Dr. Punit again. So if you have any questions, please raise. Everyone, do you have any questions?
Killer,
Sir,
tomorrow we are supposed to join Zoom
join through
or
Teams. Teams. I'll
Team.
show you that, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
can you please give a
Yeah,
small
yeah, sure.
direction?
Yeah. Right. With your Microsoft account, you're gonna have an application called Teams. So in Teams, there are two versions. One is offline. I mean, one is downloaded version and the online version. So you can use both. So what you can do, we'll share your link tomorrow or today evening. So using that link, you can join the team session. So what you have to do is just similar to Zoom. You can click on that link, then it will automatically direct to this website. So in there, you have to provide your username and password, which is given with the Microsoft account. So then you will be directed to the Zoom application. So you can see here, the Windows application is there and the web application also there. So you can both. If you want, you can download. This one is somewhat similar to Skype. So Skype that also has a Windows application and an online version. So you can download this one and install to your PC, or you can click here and go with the online version. Okay. So let us share the link first, and tomorrow 9:30. Similar to the Zoom, you can click there and you can join by giving the username and password which we have shared with you. Okay. So Darshan sir, if there are no any questions, then we can wind up the session.
Thank you, everyone. If you do not have any questions, of course, we can wind up the session. And today we had a bit in-depth discussion on Zoom. And tomorrow we'll be going to the another application that we'll be learning another application that is Team. I have experience of using both, but to me, Team is a bit easier than Zoom. Let's see how you feel it. Maybe now you have even now you are using the using Team. Anyway, let's see your experience tomorrow.
Sir,
And
that
yes,
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So if someone has some questions about, I mean, we have shared all the videos with LMS. So
Yeah.
if one need any help, how to access them, so we can show that.
Okay. Anyone need to know how to access the videos of previous workshops? Is there anyone who needs some kind of a help or the guidance?
Yes, yes.
We like to.
Okay. Shall we do it?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Shall we do it?
Yeah. Okay. So when you log into your dashboard in LMS, you may see course categories or courses, a block called courses. You may see only one or two options here, your faculty, and then another link called all courses. So if you are not seeing that one in your dashboard, what you have to do, just click customize this page. I'm going to close this one. Customize this page. And so if you can't see that course categories block in your dashboard, what you have to do, you have to go to this menu, and there you can see another link is called add block. So just click on this add block, and from there you can see courses. So you have to click on courses. Right, then that will appear in your dashboard, so you can move it to the top if you want. Right. So there you can click on all courses. Right. From there you can see Staff Development Center. So you have to click on Staff Development Center. And we have categorized that into two subjects. So one is general IT knowledge for academics, and the other one is online teaching. So if I click on this online teaching, this is the place that you can access the video. So you have to enroll to this course by yourself. So when you're going to click there, you will see a button called self-enroll. oh, enroll me. So to enroll to that course, you have to click on that button. Then you will be directed to this course interface. So these are the videos. You can just click and see the video. So like here. Okay. So the issue was some people, they doesn't have that this one. The course category is panel in their dashboard. So as I shown you earlier, you can have it by click on this one to customize this page, and at the bottom you will see ad block, and from there you have to see select courses. Okay, I think the problem is solved. So if you have any questions again, you are welcome to ask.
Killer, one more thing.
Yeah.
There are some participants who do not have access to the LMS Kuliyapite. Then could you please
Everyone,
tell
no,
how
sir.
they will feel when they try to
So everyone has access to this LMS. What they have to do, if they have a YM University official email, they can log in. Anyone who has a YM University email, they can log into the LMS WIB email. Okay. I think in Markandra also everyone has a WIB email.
Yes, yes.
So then it is possible.
Okay. Are there any other questions? If otherwise, shall we wind up the session? I would like to thank the participant today and also the resource person. Let's meet tomorrow, and we have to keep in mind that we have to log in to the tomorrow session with different application, and not Zoom, but Microsoft Teams. We will try to share the link at the earliest. I guess team links can be shared even bit earlier, like maybe today evening. Am I correct?
Yes.
Akira?
We can share that today evening.
Yeah, today evening. So you can play with that and get used to the team. And let's meet tomorrow at 9:30. Please keep in mind that external members will conduct the workshop as resource person. Microsoft expert will take the session tomorrow. So I want higher participation. So please share the link with your colleagues, and particularly the junior staff, demonstrators, and tutors in your respective departments. Thank you very much for everyone for joining the today's session. Bye bye.
Very much, sir.
Welcome. Bye bye.